Magic. Hi, everybody. Welcome to day one of How to Make Money with Email. It's a mastermind brought to us by our friends at Raptive. Grateful for them. We've been working together. Raptive and I have been working together for many years now, and they are wonderful partners. You, I think, have made a great choice to work with them too, and they have generously ponied up big dollars for this master, medium-sized dollars, some dollars for this mastermind for you to be here. And it's awesome that they do so because right now email's having a moment. Yeah, are you missing the moment? Is that why you're here? Perhaps email has not been the number one focus of your business. Understandable. But it's definitely having a moment right now. The relationships that you can build with your subscribers are arguably as important as they have ever been. And given the strange nature of what's happening on platforms all over, look, I don't need to tell you, you know all about it. The relationship, this relationship is critical to brand building. I suppose if you are a musician, band building would also be true. Also for driving traffic to where you want them to go, telling your story, what sets you apart. These are all things that we're going to talk about today or over the next 5 days a little bit, and how email fits in. Your plan for the next 5 days. I hope that you have earmarked at least this hour for every day this week, and then a little bit for some homework. It won't be bad, I promise. I've done this a lot. But if you'll listen to what I have to say, if you'll ask, look, this mastermind isn't that big, that's intentional. If you'll ask questions about your individual circumstance, I can give you some hope and some guidance, I believe. I've been doing this a long time. I've worked with a lot of content creators since 2017, and some of the largest in the world. Some of you I've worked with directly, and it's good to see you again. I'm glad that you're joining. Maybe for a refresher or for whatever the newest tidbit might be. But if you are new to this, my background, new to me, my background, I have been in small business for the last 30 years, but email has been a big part of every single one of those businesses. I have a done for you agency where I do email marketing for some of the largest food bloggers on the planet. Specifically, come up with the plans, create the emails, send them, track them, do the reporting, all that. Additionally, I have been coaching bloggers of all sizes, influencers, YouTubers, you name it, since 2017. And myself, I have used email to grow my own personal lists for personal projects, to help make money. We're going to talk about the ways that I have made money. We're going to talk about the ways that other creators are making money. And over the next 5 days, we're going to kind of go in this order. First, we're going to talk about list growth. That's going to be today. Because without a growing, thriving list, you do the whole point. What's the point? So let's start growing the list bigger and faster than you've ever done it before. Second, how do you write these emails? I'm going to give you my method, and it's not going to be right for everybody. But it might be right for some of you. And what it might do is it might just give you permission to say that you've been overthinking this, or if writing the emails and consistency has been your bugaboo, well, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to talk about what to send. How frequently should you email? What might go in those emails that will get the engagement that you want? What role does email play in all of your content hamster wheel that you're creating? And then how to use email marketing automations to make it so you're not always bending over backwards to try to get stuff out, not recreating the wheel. Pick your metaphor. We are going into on Thursday and Friday. We're going to dive deep into specific ways that people are making money. Okay, so we see we have to build the foundation a little bit. And then we're going to go into what are people actually doing beyond the obvious stuff. And there's going to be a lot in those where you're going to go, whoa, I'm not ready for that. And the intention is not for you to do every single one of those things that I'm going to share with you. The intention is to light you up a little bit with the possibilities of what you might be doing and think a different way to think about your list. Okay. So if that works for you, it works for me. Good. If it doesn't work for you, well, send me an email, tell me what you'd like, and I'll try to work it in. Let's dive in here. A couple of quick things as I do the administrative stuff. I have to give you this rah-rah, okay? I mentioned the homework, but I feel very, very strongly about this. If you will participate, even if you can't watch these live, I'm recording these thanks to Allison, and I'm going to be posting them in the Facebook group so you can watch them back. If you will do the homework and you will ask me questions, stick around at the end because I'll just stay here until you leave. It's kind of awkward. We're just staring at each other at the end. But if you have questions, I want to get you rolling on where you need to be. I've been doing this a long time. And this may sound a little cocky, and maybe it's intended to sound a little cocky. There's a good chance I've seen what you're dealing with, and there's a good chance that I have an answer for you. Okay. And if there's not, then I'm going to be motivated to try to point you in a direction that will help you. So take me up on that. All right. That's my little rah-rah for you today. Raptive, they're paying for, or let me share my screen. They're paying for my course. If you don't already have it, I know some of you do. If you do, that's great. Not a lot has changed. But if you don't, write down this. Go to emailonautopilot.com. I'll drop it here into the chat and use that coupon code. Kickstart whatever at the checkout, and you'll get it 100% free. Why would you need this? Well, it's a $500 course. It's been my signature course since I've been doing this since 2017. It has all the things that we're going to talk about. No, it doesn't. It has a lot of the things that we were going to talk about. We can't cover everything on a mastermind where you got a lot of different people with different skill sets, different platforms. What this does is it covers what to do, and then half of it is how to do it in Kit, which is my platform of choice. You don't need Kit in order for it to be valuable to you. I just chose Kit a long time ago, and I went all in. And for those that are technically, what's the word? Technically don't care and are looking for a platform that will work for you, that's the intention here, is that because a lot of times getting hung up on the technical stuff slows us down. And if you don't care and somebody tells you, we'll just use this tool and do this, and this with it, and you'll be off and running, then that can help you. Okay. If you haven't done so, please join our Facebook group. I'll put that link in the chat. Did anybody go get try that coupon code yet? By the way, just curious. In the chat, let me know if you do, because I have messed that up in the past. It works. Yay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Let's dig in here. This is where I go through what's your current pain point on email. Look, you all told me, and when you filled out your application for this thing, here's basically what you were struggling with. Does this sum it up a little bit for most of you? Growing a list, your list isn't growing fast enough, or if it is growing, like they're not really engaging with what you're doing. Does that resonate with anybody? Okay, good. I got one nod. Excellent. Knowing what to send without feeling like you're annoying the heck out of your audience. This is a common one. How often should you send, and what should you send? We're going to talk about that. The consistency. I have found that with my clients, when I get into the coaching and consulting side of things, the biggest issue is not the, oh, I don't know what to do. That you can take care of pretty quickly. It's the being consistent. You just haven't built a system. Everything else in content creation requires systems. Otherwise, you would not be at Raptive level. You would not have had the content factory to bang this out, which requires systems for photography, for video, for writing, for SEO stuff. All those require systems. You just haven't built yours yet. And so I'm going to give you a proxy for one that might be a starter for some of you. Creating the opt-ins when there's no time. Yep, we're going to talk about that too. I've got a tried and true formula. You're overthinking it. I can tell you that right now. So that's the good news. I'm going to make it easy. And then how do you get them to open and click and reply? I'm going to give you my best tips and tricks on that. There are, this is, it is more art than it is science, but there is some science. And then what is the ROI of doing this anyway? That's when we're going to really get into the making money part. Okay. Does this kind of cover where you might be with your email struggles? If it doesn't, please, please, please let me know individually. You can email me or whatever you want to do, so that I cover whatever your issue might be. Now, as is the case, many of you are on different platforms. Okay. From Flowdesk, we have a lot of people on Flowdesk. We have some folks on MailerLite. We even have a couple of MailChimp holdouts. And then there's a few others. The good news is that these techniques will work on pretty much every software platform. I can't be an expert in all of them, but I am an expert in one. As I mentioned earlier, my recommendation, if you don't care, is Kit. This is an affiliate link. The reason that I bring this up is what I talked about earlier. If you're thinking, if you've been on the fence about your current email platform, I used to be shy about saying this stuff. I'm not anymore. You don't have time to mess around. So if you want let's get this, if you buy into the Matt Mullen brand of crazy and the system that I'm about to share with you, I'm going to make it easy for you. Just use the tool that I use. You don't have to, but if you use the tool that I do, I will help you migrate for free from wherever you are to Kit. I will point you in the right direction technically about here's how to accomplish exactly what we're doing. I can't do that with ActiveCampaign or Aweber or Keep or any of the dozens of others. I have experience with all of them, but I don't have the deep knowledge of the click here, click that, do this, do that, which you might need from a tool. So if this helps you, boom, there's my shilling for Kit. They'll love that, I guess. All right, let's move on. As I promised, let's talk about list growth. We're going to start with a secret. And this secret, we're going to begin with my friend Martha. So I was over at Martha's house. I was in her kitchen. We're having a lovely conversation about the World Cup mostly. She is a huge Curacao fan. Don't ask me why, but she just loves that team. So she kept going on and on about it. And I said, Martha, I've kind of got a little bit of hankering for some snacks or something. And she says, you know what? Me too. And so right then and there, she decided that she was going to make us something delicious. And you can probably guess what it was, because look what she has in front of her. She's got that glass of milk. So obviously, what did she want to make to go along with the milk, guys? What was it? That's right. Play along. It's okay. You're right. You guessed it. She said, I would love some Mexican chorizo cornbread casserole. And I said, me too. That sounds fantastic. Except neither one of us knew how to make Mexican chorizo cornbread casserole. The good news is that she had this non-branded laptop sitting in front of her, and she typed into this thing called Google. That is the wrong one. Forgive me. I've used this joke before. I'm moving on. She typed into Google Mexican chorizo cornbread casserole. And look what happened. Up came a couple of recommendations here. Okay, the very first recommendation is from somebody named John's I Cooked. And down here, also the same one. This must be good. It's the number one thing that Google was recommending here to Martha. So what did Martha do? She clicked on that naturally, and it took her to this delightful recipe that super easy to make, just 5 minutes of prep time, 35 minutes of cook time. 40 minutes later, we were wiping our mouths with our napkins, having enjoyed the Mexican chorizo cornbread casserole like you wouldn't believe. The best MCCC we've ever had. Okay? What happened next? Did Martha tell all her friends about this recipe? Did she bookmark it for later? Is that even a thing? Does anybody bookmark anything anymore? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Martha didn't. What did Martha do? Martha bounced. She's off and on her way. She's back to checking out Curacao player stats. She was getting back to work. She was finishing the laundry. She was taking care of her sick cat. Whatever it was, Martha bounced. Why? Why didn't Martha tell all her friends? Why didn't Martha bookmark this? Well, the answer is simple. Martha is a jerk. No, Martha's not a jerk. Martha's just busy. Martha is like the rest of us. Nobody behaves that way in the way that we would like. Martha is in what we call transaction mode. At that moment, she says, hey, Google, I have a need. Google says, here's your answer. She gets the answer from whatever that website was. John's I Cook. Okay. She gets that from John's and makes the recipe. And what is she going to do next time? She gets hungry. She's just going to go back to do it again. This time it might be ChatGPT. It might be Pinterest. It might be her Facebook group, whatever. That transaction, she doesn't need John's I Cook. She doesn't even need to remember that. As an aside, as you know, I work with food creators a lot. So one of my favorite things to do to ask my daughters who are in their 20s and they are, they're cooking up a storm right now. And I always love to ask, whose recipe was that? Now, they're a little conditioned for me asking that question, but at the beginning, do you know what their answer was? I don't know. This is something that they were putting into their bodies, that they were sharing with friends and impressing their neighbors. They don't know where they got it. Okay, so what's my point? My point is that this secret that is not so secret is that Martha is your best source of list growth, your existing traffic, whatever that may be. In that moment, Martha is a captive audience, and we have a chance, we have a shot. Because what's going to happen to Martha next? Is she ever going to come back? Possibly not. By the way, this transaction mode is why these things don't work. Never miss a recipe. Sign up for my newsletter. Do you want more useful tips and stories and giveaways? The answer is no. Martha doesn't want or need any of that. She just wanted some MCCC. You know what I mean? All right. So what do we do? Well, if we want to turn Martha and her ilk into an email subscriber, we need something called an email hook. Now, you have heard of this before. This is not new. A lead magnet, I'm sure you're familiar with this. Some of you already have these, right? Thanks, Matt, for sharing stuff I already know. Okay. Well, before we get into this, I'd love to know what your current email hook might be. What do you have going on? In the chat, I'm going to keep rambling here for a minute, but I'm going to come back to the chat. I'm going to read the chat in a second. Let me know, what is your current lead magnet? How are you getting people onto your list right now? While you are writing that down feverishly, let me tell you what I think makes a good email hook. First of all, it should grab your target reader, the person that you can truly serve. Ideally, it should solve a problem, a specific problem. In today's day and age, it should arrive in the inbox instantly, you hope, or darn close to it. And last but not least, it should showcase you as a smarty pants. You know what you're talking about. And there's lots of different types of lead magnets. So here's where I go to the chat and see what you all gave me. So we've got a lot freebie library of printables. I know all about printables. They grab them and they go, never to be heard from again. Am I right? Not always, but sometimes it feels like that. Game Day Recipes ebook. Okay, I'm going to talk about ebooks in just a second, Nicole. I have two mortal enemies in this world. One is zucchini. The second is ebooks. I'll explain that in a minute. Not the zucchini part. That's obvious, right? I mean, you get that. But the ebook part. A digital cookbook really needs to be updated. Okay, Lisa, I got you. Secrets to add more protein to a plant-based diet. Allison, is that a guide? Is that a checklist? Is that an ebook? Anne's got a 5-day meal plan. Okay. Gated print. Yeah. All right. Grocer's list. You have, in order to do grocer's list, you're saving this recipe or you're saving this article, right? You got email me the recipe or save this recipe, save this article. Free guide and quiz. Good. Okay. Interested in that. Recipe ebook and protein guide. All right. Excellent. Look, I know that there's lots of different types of lead magnets. And I use them all. I am not bad mouthing these others. I'm only bad mouthing one of them, and you'll see why in a moment. The printables, downloadables, checklists, I still use these today. Okay. I just believe that there's other ways to do it in a pinch. Okay. So, what is my issue with ebooks? When you get an ebook, well, first of all, you had to spend all this time designing it, or you hired a designer to create it. And then you make it available. And how does somebody find it? Well, usually they are on this device. Okay, you tell me where an ebook goes after it's downloaded to this device. And also, can you ever find it again? Also, does anybody ever actually click on anything in an ebook? Is anybody doing this with their ebooks? Click, click. No, the answer is not. Your statistics will back me up on this. Okay, so you went to all that work to make that ebook. It's great. It feels like I'm giving something of value. But here's the problem with most email hooks. They take time, skill, money to create. Or they just aren't that effective for reasons I just talked about with the ebook, or other reasons, at turning your readers into super fans. All right. So, all right, wise guy, what do you do instead? Well, here's my preferred method. First of all, you'll be happy to know that this method does not require you to create any new content. I want you to use your existing content and create something that I call a quick start guide. A quick start guide, some of you are doing this already. Some of you are doing it, and we're going to talk. For those of you who are already doing this, don't tune me out. Okay, I've got more for you. But if you're not, it's a short series of emails that will take your newest reader and direct them to the stuff that's the most important for them to find. My wife and I, back even before I started consulting, this is like 2016, we started a Disney-related website. Our main focus was Disney cruising. And we ranked for a while, ranked number one for Disney cruise tips. So when people landed on Disney cruise tips, they'd be invited to sign up for this thing called What to Expect on Your First Disney Cruise. Now let's think about that for a second. Notice what this is not. Never miss an update about Disney cruises. Learn everything there is to know about Disney cruises. Get my Disney cruise ebook. It's none of those things. What this is if they are Googling Disney cruise tips, why? Why are they doing that? What does Martha want to know? What's her motivation? Well, she's probably going on a Disney cruise. And yes, Lisa, it's probably her first, because otherwise, why does she need tips? So this goes right at the heart of what Martha is interested in and solves that problem. What to expect on your Disney cruise, first Disney cruise. And this thing converts like crazy. Now, the glorious thing about this is that you've already solved this problem at some point with your existing content. And here's a little spoiler alert. Your homework assignment is going to be, I'm going to invite you to go make a new quick start guide, even those of you who have done it before. And the rules of the game are, I don't want you to use your existing content. Or, excuse me, I don't want you to create new content. I want you to use your existing content only. Okay? So what we're doing is some of it is marketing semantics, but we're turning this into a guide. You're creating this theme and turning it into a guide. And then again, loosely described as a lesson or a theme. Each email has its own theme within that guide. And with each one of these emails, what is the main point of the email? The main object of the email is to bring them back to your channel of choice, usually your blog, but it could be anywhere. The object is not to convert them into a passionate email reader inside their inbox. The object is to convert them into a super fan of your content by bringing them to the content. The reason that, so we're just taking, your most valuable content and we're putting it in an order that makes sense for your reader. The reason that this works is that when people are getting started on any new topic, any new endeavor, they just want to get going. They don't need to dive in hardcore. They're just kind of exploring. And when we can simplify a topic for somebody, we can make it really easy for them to understand. We're doing them a big, big favor. Again, Use your existing content. But Matt, all this content's already on my site. It's already on my Instagram channel. Can't they just find it there? Of course they can. But nobody uses the internet that way. You don't do that, and I don't do that. And they don't either. Okay. So we're going to save our readers time, making it easy for them to find your very best stuff, turning you into a subject matter expert from, they don't know you. Martha doesn't know John's I Cooked when she starts out this journey looking for MCCC. But maybe by the time we've gone through a quick start guide, now all of a sudden John's or Sharon is a expert, is starting to become a subject matter expert in Martha's eyes. And you're bringing them back to your website where it all started, or your channel of choice. And because you're sending them good stuff, you are training them that your next emails will also be good. See how this is all kind of works nicely. All right, so 1 email per day, 3 to 5 days in a row. There's no perfect number here. I have some clients that have done an entire month of a quick start guide. Like I have one that she does 31 days of Croctober every October. Okay, it works great. It's going to depend on your situation. But so for right now, let's think 5 days in a row. Okay, we get this concept, right? I hope. What you might be wondering is, okay, so what do I write about? Here is my guidelines for how to select your topic. Now, I know many of you have content on all sorts of different things. You might have travel, you might have crafts, you might have recipes, you might have finance, you might have within recipes, you might have slow cooker, air fryer, gluten-free. You might have all these different, what do you do? I want to come back to this. Your existing traffic today is your best source of list growth. Look, I get it. Many of us, our traffic has changed. It looks different than what it once was. We can be sad about that for a minute, but then we can lean into what it is really today. So what is your, what traffic are you getting today? I know it's not nothing. And then what problem can I solve for the people that are coming to my channel? So let's start here. What is your biggest channel and what are the biggest posts, pages, categories of traffic that you're getting right now? And then this is probably the important part. This is the hardest part. Why? Why are they there? Think about the motivation that brings them there. As we did with the Disney cruise tips, when you dive in a little bit deeper and think about why they possibly Googled Disney cruise tips, it changes what you might offer. And then what's the heart of their problem and what can you offer to solve it? Okay? Now, in just a minute, anybody who is kind of stuck on an idea, or meaning you don't have an idea of what to do, I am going to be helping. I'm giving away free quick start guide ideas today only, and maybe tomorrow. But take me up on it. But first, let me show you some examples of what some people have done. Okay, so Baking a Moment, she's got a lot of baked good recipes, and she specializes in cookies. So 5 secrets for baking impossibly soft cookies. This is Jansen from Everyday Reading. She instills a love of reading, helps parents instill a love of reading in their kids. And so she's got this email course called Raising Readers. Jessica had a unique problem where, as a DIY site, she was getting search traffic for paint colors, how to fix the toilet, how to decorate the foyer, which is French, I understand. She was getting all that. And so when we kind of narrowed it down to what's their motivation? Who is this person? Somebody who is, because you can pay people to do those other things for you, to solve those problems for you, but they were willing to, I don't know, pick up a hammer or a paintbrush. So 5 secrets to transform your home on any budget. This one, Killer Copycat Recipes, this is going way back to the pandemic, but I bring it out here because it still works today, but it really, really worked then. We couldn't leave our homes. And so Killer Copycat Recipes really, really worked. Still works today. You remember a couple years ago, those of you based in the United States, we had, I don't know, egg shortage number 550 over the last 5 years. Um, there was this moment where everybody it felt like everybody was going to go raise their own chickens. You know what I'm talking about? It was like it was kind of all the rage. Well, the traffic was going straight to the happy chicken coop as people were trying to discover how do you raise chickens. Well, they created Raising Healthy Chickens series and was able to convert a lot of them into subscribers. For food creators, sometimes it's seasonal. Here's a few examples. Warm up, comfort food when it's cold outside, my winter 2026 roundup. Or maybe it's based off of a device, 5 days of slow cooker classics. Ralphie, this one's kind of fun. This has been quite a few years now. In fact, I am looking at this was totally random. So I got this wedding invitation from the parents of this gentleman who is marrying Ralphie's daughter. I didn't get it from Ralphie yet. I got it from their parents because I'm friends with both of them and they live on different sides of the country and just total happens. Anyway, completely random story. Ralphie, she's a parenting expert. And at the time that we started working together, she had 120,000 Instagram followers, no website, but she wanted to start building her list. So we created a series called Staying Safe. Why? We yell, why it doesn't work, and what to do instead. Basically, it was stop yelling at your kids. And this guide helps you do that. She introduced it as part of her No Yell Week. And then everybody, she all week long, she kept talking about different ways to avoid yelling at your kids and sharing this guide. Well, we spent probably 3 minutes on this landing page. When she shared it with her list through stories, through posts, etc., she went from 0 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. Now, this is not just vanity. This was real engagement. Look, if you know anything about email marketing, you'll know these numbers are good. What did we send? What did Ralphie send? She sent stuff like, why yelling doesn't work, 3 long-term effects of yelling, blah, blah, blah. For a video on the negative effects of yelling, click the picture. How much time do you think Ralphie spent on selecting that picture? She did not spend a lot. 20,000. She still uses this same guide today, and we are 6 years later. And she's still having great success with it. What might one of these emails look like, you ask? Well, it could be as simple as, welcome to day 1 of 30-minute keto meals. Did someone say keto and quick? Look at these. My fastest and best, blah, blah, blah. And then it's recipe, recipe, recipe. Can you write an email like that? Does it have to be more complicated than that? The reason this works, at this point, they don't need to know Katrin's whole sugar-free journey at this point. They were on the website for some other keto recipe. So the next logical thing is a few more keto recipes, please. Now that opens up the door. When you've clicked through, you're back. You're starting to recognize the logo. You're back on the website. You're going, yeah, that's pretty dang good. Now Katrin can start telling you her story. Does she need a welcome series here? This is the welcome series. Okay, have I lost any of you? Anybody have an idea about a quick start guide that they are wanting to make? Yes, Lisa, go for it.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So my problem, as I'm looking at this, I really like the idea and the concept. My problem is twofold. One is that my audience, first of all, I offer special education advice to parents so that they can navigate the IEP process. It's a very complex process in the USA. And then the other piece is that I have tools and resources to make the IEP process easier for teachers. So my audience is absolutely split into teachers and parents because they need very different pieces of information. The other part is that as far as my parents, they don't know what they don't know. So like they don't even really know they have a problem is part of it. And then I guess just because it's so far off of what I've been doing for 15 years, like mine is a field where your authority and your experience is essential. So it just like makes me squirm in my seat to not offer up my experience and my expertise like early in the email
Yeah,
series.
yeah, makes sense. I'm glad that you brought that up. Let's tackle those one at a time. So first, I mean, I don't think you're alone. I think others are probably feeling something similar. Um, First, let's talk about the parents, just as an example. If they don't know that they have a problem, how the heck are they finding you?
So the thing is that like they'll do a search on specific issues, but like I always say that parents never come to me with much more than a gut feeling that their IEP is off. Like this is not a good IEP. I need help with it. But like they don't even know where to begin. They don't know how to define the problem. They don't know how to name the problem. So
Then
they
how did
just
they
kind of
find you? What is the exact search query that brought them to you?
it's usually like related to like social skills goals or something like that.
Okay, so
Like
now
their
I'm
kid is autistic and doesn't have social skills and they know that and they know the IEP is supposed to address it and like they'll look up like social skills goals and think that's one of my very popular posts.
okay. So, and I'm being specific on purpose. What is the search query? Is it social skills goals or is it social
Yeah.
skills goals autism?
Both. I
Okay,
mean,
because those are different.
yeah.
Let's talk about the people you actually serve are the ones with the autism. Or no?
Um I mean, yes, largely my audience, I would say like half of them are ADHD and autism for sure.
Okay.
Like because those are the
Now,
two most common ones.
in the same vein, I'd argue that it's not that different than Disney cruise tips. Somebody who's going on their first Disney cruise, they don't know what they don't know. And so they're asking this generic question, just give me the tips. In your situation, if a parent sat down with you in your expertise and they said, oh man, Lisa, I don't know what to do. I know I need to work on my kid's social skills and he's autistic. She's autistic. Here's That's all you know. You would probably have some blanket information and or some clarifying questions that would lead them to other content that would be helpful. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking if I should go down the road of like maybe troubleshooting your IEP and then go like the top queries from
Do you have
there or
other
not.
content on social skills related to autism?
Oh yeah, I probably have at least probably at least a dozen, half dozen to a dozen posts about it.
Okay. So again, we're not going to get this exactly right. We don't have time on this call.
Right.
But the gist of it is if I'm that parent and I land on your website after Googling or whatever got me there, social skills autism, and I get a guide, I'm not going to get this right. 5 things every parent needs to know. Every parent of an autistic child needs to know about social skills. Now it's too long, I get it, but if that's
Right.
the gist of it, you have that information.
Okay.
You have 5 things to share. And
Okay.
then
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
and then they sign up. And then this is where you should start sharing. And of course, and we're going to talk about your authority here in a minute because you're right. It's super important, especially in your case. Um, Hi, Matt. Welcome to day 1 of 5 things every parent of an autistic child needs to know about social skills. um, Look, you're probably wondering X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to fake it because I can't.
Right.
The reason I know that is I've been working in this field. I'm a therapist. I've been an author, blah, 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 for 275,000 years. You don't really seem that old, Lisa, but
I
whatever.
know. I feel it.
That's how I know that most parents go through the following. Over the next 5 days, I'm going to share with you the most common issues and how to address them related to social skills for your autistic child. Day one is something, day two is something else, day three, and so forth. By the end of 5 days, they have now discovered through your content that you are a subject matter expert because you brought them to the solutions of, you anticipated the questions that before they even thought to ask. In the case of the Disney cruise, for example, they don't know what the onboarding process is like. So when I tell them, here's exactly what's going to happen when you step on board the ship, they go, oh, cool. But they weren't expecting that. But now they know that I'm a subject matter expert because I just wowed them with it. So I think in your case, a very quick introduction doesn't have to be long, but I believe that you're right. You have to tell them, I do this. This is why I know. And then every day you can still put the humble brags in every single email. But over 5 days, you're just directing them back to content that already exists. And in your case, because you have segments, the answer for this is probably you need to create more quick start guides. Now, that might be shown through pop-ups, might be shown through inline forms, might be shown through quizzes. But the gist of it is through these segments, you identify parents of autistic children. You might have high functioning, low functioning. I mean, you can start narrowing down. Right. When they get in your case, you might actually have a set, you might even be doing this with BirdSend, some sort of segmentation. Is your child X, Y, and Z? Click, click, click. Are you a teacher? Click, click, click. And then that drops them into different sequence. We're talking advanced stuff here. Everybody don't get freaked out. This is Lisa. Lisa knows, she's heard my spiel before. But that's what's possible. We just got to get them in the door.
Okay.
And I would think for teachers, same thing, right? Why does your teacher Google whatever they Google? It's going to be a different resource probably that they need.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's the part. I will say it's the AI stuff is what's killing the teacher part of it, because teachers are used to say, give me this. And now AI is like, hey, why don't you do that instead?
Right.
That's the part that I have to work on. But yeah, that works. Okay.
That's an interesting point. Let's talk about that one later, but I just want to bring it up now.
Yeah.
I do think when you are is such an intensely important, everybody's got important topics. I hope you understand what I mean. But you're so specialized that when you start going down this route into teachers, and they're going to have AI options, but they're still going to be like with Disney Cruise. We also served Disney recipes, Disney coloring books, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Aulani in Hawaii. They're all different Disney topics, but man, we knew more about Disney Cruise than a lot of other people. And so when you go deep with me, I'm going to take you deeper. Now the audience isn't as big, but by golly, those people are valuable. And that's where the day 4, day 5, what do we sell them comes, or how do we make money from them down the road?
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
I'll be honest, like right now, I'm relying a lot on Facebook lead ads, and I'm paying 20 cents a lead. So I'm going to keep throwing money at that as long as I can. So I guess that's just going to be a new thing for me, because free PDFs have been very lucrative in getting those cheap leads. And I don't know if a quick start guide will, but I'll work on it, Okay,
so this is for everybody who has a PDF, a printable. I know, Cindy, you've got printables. Some of you have ebooks. Hear me out on this. Here's how you take a printable or PDF or ebook that has those problems that I was just telling you about, and how you convert it into a quick start guide. The answer is you do both. You promise the PDF and you deliver it, and you deliver the quick start guide. Okay? So, hi, Matt. Welcome to, or as promised, here's your free PDF on my fastest and best keto recipes. Click here to download. Now, just in case it's easier for you, over the next 5 days, I'm going to show you even more. I'm going to show you those recipes and even more right here in your inbox. And then you just do this, what you see on your screen. So, first sentence, here's that thing you asked for. Click here. Now, did somebody say keto and quick? You see how I did that? You give them the free thing in the PDF form, but then you give yourself permission to email them for 5 days in a row. Trust me on this. You'll be fine. A few people might unsubscribe, but not many. Most people dig it. They didn't even know it's possible that you have all this great advice on 30-minute keto meals. And so you just use it as a gateway. If that's the hook that works. But the reason I love these is Sugar-Free Londoner, she gets paid every time somebody clicks one of these, right? Because they come back to the website and that's where the ads are shown. And then they bump around a little bit in there and they discover the yogurt and they discover the walnut cookies and so on and so forth. It's great. That's what we want. Okay, is anybody else stuck? I'm giving away free ideas today. Don't be shy. This is not the place for shyness. We are taking action. Everybody's been there. Okay.
Hi. Yeah, I guess I have maybe a similar sort of issue to Lisa in that if I look at the top performing posts on my site, there's kind of quite different audiences. So it's like a food, like a restaurant guide travel site.
Okay.
And like half the posts it started off just being about Amsterdam, but then it's kind of grown into travel guides about loads of other cities. And if I look at like the top performing posts, half of them are Amsterdam related things like best Indonesian restaurants in Amsterdam, which is really popular, or like best ramen restaurants in Amsterdam or whatever. But then the other half are like guides to totally different places like Chicago or Valencia or places in Portugal. So I guess similar to Lisa, I'm wondering, like, would I then need to create two separate series? I could easily imagine coming up with like a quick start guide to Amsterdam and like different things that visitors would need to know. But for the people who are dropping in on other guides or other cities, I don't know exactly how I would like serve them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Travel is a tough one. I know that from the Disney cruise stuff, but like if you're teaching everything about Amsterdam, somebody who's going to Chicago, they don't have any interest in,
exactly.
best Indonesian restaurant or how to skip the queue at Anne Frank or whatever it may be. All right. They don't need to know that. And the short answer is not one that you want to hear, but you need to, if you really want to serve that audience and you have content to serve them, then you need to create different lead magnets for each one. Now, what I want to tell you though, is that you're overcomplicating the process of creating the lead magnet. If you have any content at all about Chicago, then you're getting traffic for it, then you're probably ready to make a quick start guide. If you are getting traffic to Chicago and you only have one piece of content about Chicago, I'd argue you need to make more Chicago content. Otherwise, forget about it. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the traffic that comes in and, maybe throw up something generic about travel. 5 secrets to traveling on a budget. Or five destinations that were all, bucket list destinations for 2027, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But in the case of Amsterdam, you probably have an easy quick start guide to start with.
Yeah, the Amsterdam part I can see would be quite easy. Also from a technical point of view, like this is probably really stupid, but I don't know how. I don't really have anything set up at the moment, so I don't quite know how I would get like a different message to an audience, depending on which
that's a good question.
The person had landed on. I don't even know how I would get a different message to them.
Yeah, there's a lot without us going into that in too much technical detail, because you haven't done it yet. This is why I suggest you just start and you follow me with the process with Amsterdam if you haven't done it yet. Because what it'll do is it'll unveil how you do it on Amsterdam and Chicago and Paris and so on and so forth. There are ways to show different forms, if you're using WordPress, for example, to different people. You can do that inline. You can do that as pop-ups. We'll talk about pop-ups on Wednesday, everybody. I know you have questions about it. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they evil? Are they going to tank my SEO? We'll talk about all that. There are some SEO experts that are very dogmatic about it, and I will give you the counterpoint about how you might want to think about this. But anyway, whether it's that or you're using DM automation off of Instagram, there's lots of different ways to drive people to these different guides. My suggestion for now, Vicki, is create the Amsterdam guide as simple as possible. Truly, you see how these are written. Hi, Matt. Welcome to day 1 of Amsterdam Made Awesome. So you're ready. You're on your way to the Netherlands. Perfect. Hope you packed your clogs. Here's what you need to know. Day one, packing list. Packing for Amsterdam is not difficult, but you're going to want to know a few things. Click here to get my comprehensive list for what to pack when you visit Amsterdam. When's the best time to go? Welcome to day 2 of the best time to visit Amsterdam. Day 3, here's the best restaurants in Amsterdam. Day 4, and so on. Okay? Something simple, something quick like that. I want it to be ugly. I want it to be just, if it has to be just plain text and links, that's fine. They don't care. You can make it pretty later. But if you'll just do it with Amsterdam with me, I think it'll open up how you do it. Because my favorite, by the way, everybody, my favorite button in Kit, and I'm sure you have a similar button in Flowdesk or wherever, it's the duplicate button. Imagine the Amsterdam thing, and once you kind of have it down, it's the same thing. If you're going to Amsterdam or you're going to Paris, you want to know the best season to go, where to go, what to do, what to see, where to stay, what to pack, where to eat. It's always the same stuff. You're just swapping out the articles, okay? Duplicate, rinse and repeat. I know I'm oversimplifying it, but sometimes we're overcomplicating it. So will you tackle the Amsterdam one for me, Vicki?
Yeah, I'll start with Amsterdam and see how I go from there. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Cindy, I would love to hear your insightful, provocative question.
Yeah, well, I'm really putting myself out on the line because my freebie library does not even go with the theme of my blog, the niche of my blog.
Okay.
I'll be honest, it was a fun thing to create. The creative side of me really wanted to create this, and I've gotten a lot of subscribers. Half of them have stayed, half of them have left.
Okay.
But I've gotten good feedback on it. It's basically a freebie library filled with printable things that they can use. Watercolor art that they can print out and frame, or greeting cards, stuff like that. And some of the items in the library can be applied to my blog, which is thrift store makeovers and furniture makeovers and decorating with thrift store items in your home. So some of those freebies could apply to my niche. And I've even written blog posts to direct people to those to the freebie library. And hey, once you sign up, here's what you can do with those items. And that's been mediocre. But you're saying this quick start guide. So what would somebody like me do with the library that possibly people are still coming back to, for instance, to print off another piece of artwork? But if I'm going to do a quick start guide in different topics like the 5 easiest things to upcycle from the thrift store, something like that, then what would I do with the library if I'm going to do quick start guides instead?
So people on the thrift, I'm sorry, what's the name of your website?
Reinvented Delaware.
Okay, so on Reinvented Delaware, which by the way is the first state in the union, if you go there and you click on any of your forms are to this freebie library?
Yes.
Okay. Now you took this course you're taking this mastermind for a reason. I've got to believe that part of that reason is that you want to grow your list with readers that are going to make you money down the road. And I'm just guessing here through what you just told me that the freebie library may not be serving that purpose as well as we hope.
Exactly.
So, look, you're not throwing away the freebie library. You don't have to do that. I just want you to just put that idea on pause for a minute and try something new. Period. Like if you said, I'm starting a fresh approach here, I am allowing myself to turn that off for a little bit if I have to try something new. Because Cindy, it may be that converts better, but they may not be people that you can monetize later. It may be that converts better and you actually could be monetizing them, and maybe in day 4 and day 5, you'll come up with new ways to do that. It may be that this new thing converts better for you, but you won't know until you try. So my advice would probably be that if we were consulting together, I would go in, I'd look at your Google Analytics, and I'd say, this is where you're getting traffic. You probably already know that. And then we would come up with a quick start guide specifically to cater to that, to solve this. And then for your freebie library, and this goes for all y'all, I'm not asking you to abandon stuff that's worked. If it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you're ready to try something new, just believe me that old lead magnet will still be there. You could turn it back on. I'm not asking you to throw it away forever, just to try something else. Do you feel like you have something, Cindy, that you could try in its place?
Not yet, but I definitely could do this 5-day plan of sending them from one post to the next. I like that idea a whole lot. I'd have to really do some thinking about which posts I would lead people through. But yeah, I could definitely put some thought into it. And if I were to pause the freebie library, like after I get this set up, I have a inline in every single one of my blog posts that directs them to sign up on that freebie library. And I have a pop-up for it as well. So I have to go back.
The pop-up would be easy to turn off.
Yes, but the inlines I'd have to go back and remove from each, right?
Are they hard-coded in each one?
I use a block editor, so I don't think it would be, it would,
piece of cake.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not, same thing with the pop-up. You're going to just turn off the block editor, put in a different block, try it for a while, see how that goes. Yeah. Now, before, Cindy, hang on a second. So I know we're at the top of the hour, everybody. If you are still stuck, stick around. I don't want you to leave here without an idea to go do your homework on. To answer a couple quick questions. First of all, Maria, if you're on Kit, you just need the creator plan because you need multiple sequences. You don't need the pro plan. I have very few clients that have ever needed the pro plan as an FYI. There's the basic that's free, there's creator that's paid, and then there's pro that's paid a lot more. You don't need the pro. You'll need the creator if you want to do multiples of these. Yes. Do I find better results with multiple niched quick start guides? One or two more general. From a conversion rate, Diane, you can probably imagine if I said, get the latest Disney news versus to the people who are going on a Disney cruise, what to expect of your first Disney cruise, that thing converts way, way better because it's more on the nose with what they need. But what I would do if I were starting, if you've never done this before, don't worry about it. I'm giving you permission to that's in the future. I just want you to pick one. What's an obvious one for you? And like in the case of Vicky, Amsterdam was an obvious one. Just start. So go in here. What's a lot of traffic? People are coming to you for a lot of traffic. What's their motivation? So for the signups on these individual quick start guys, they go on specific traffic posts only. It's not site-wide. Heck yeah, site-wide. Heck yeah. Do it. If you don't have anything else. If you have something else that's better, then no. But I'm guessing that you probably don't. Like in the case of the Disney cruise. Okay, let's just use that example. Or Vicky's case. Vicky's a great case. Look, if I'm landing on Chicago and I see an Amsterdam quick start guide, yeah, that's not a perfect fit. I think Vicky will have a question of putting out the, do I put that out site-wide? Or is it so narrow and so niche that I don't? In my case with the Disney cruise, I probably would put the Disney cruise tips out for everybody. What to expect on your first Disney cruise. Because even if you're going to Disneyland, you might be interested in Disney cruising. So you have to make that decision. In most cases, in absence of anything, you might as well put it out there. It won't convert as well, except for the audience that's super niche, but it's a place to start. Vicky, the Kit pricing is it's just kit.com/pricing. It's going to vary depending on how many subscribers you have. Go check that out. All right. Tomorrow, here's your homework, everybody. And stick around if you want me to give you more ideas. I have more. It's not empty yet. I'd like you to write in a Google Doc. You do not have to publish anywhere on your website. I don't need it super formatted, but in a Google Doc, I want you to write these emails for your quick start guide tonight, so that tomorrow I can read them. Look, if you were struggling with how to write them, follow this example. Hi, Matt. Welcome to day one of Insert Title Here. A very quick intro. By the way, people don't read emails, they skim. People don't read emails, they skim. I should have a t-shirt made. People don't read emails, they skim. What am I saying? Say less. Hi, Matt. Welcome to day one of Insert Title Here. Are you looking for quick keto meals over the next 5 days? I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite meals that have got the highest ratings and are personal favorites in our house. Let's start here with my absolute fastest recipes. I love a good subheader. See what a subheader does? It breaks it up because people aren't reading this, remember? Nobody reads this. So they hit the subject line, they might glance at this, they're going to jump down to here, and then they're into the recipes, right? Or they're into the articles. Don't write too much. You don't have to. Tomorrow, I will tell you if you've not written enough. Okay? Everybody understand the homework? Google Doc, and then share it with me. I'm going to put a post on Facebook later today how to share it with me. And tomorrow I will go through, I'll read them as many as you want. It's really interesting, actually, that the writing, the copy editing part is actually one of the most highly rated sessions that I do. It's interesting to me. But I think people just want permission to write less, and I'll give it to you. What else was I going to say? Oh, sorry. I forgot Cindy too. Let me pull that back up. Basically, all I want you to do is just put it in a Google Doc and then drop it into the Facebook group at a link that I'm going to post later this afternoon. Okay? So that I can review them tomorrow on the call. If you would normally put an image in your email, you don't need to put the image in there. I don't need to see it. I can pretend in my head that it's there with your Google Doc. We're not formatting this for perfect beauty for me, all right? We just want to get the general content in. If you are ambitious, go for it. Get it out there, publish, launch. If you get the general idea, make it happen. I'm all about that. One last thing, sorry. Roundups trump single articles. These are quick start guides are wonderful for roundups. You see this? This is a roundup of multiple. She has 5 recipes in one email. If you're a food blogger, and many of you are, think roundups of 5 recipes. It can be more, it can be less. I'm just giving you a ballpark, something to aim for, okay? Because variety helps. We're solving the problem of fastest and best keto recipes, but you may like walnut and I may like chocolate chip. The variety also leads to more clicks for you. Any questions on all that? Ready to do it? Awesome. If you are still stuck, stick around. Let's get you unstuck. I'm happy to help. If you got to get out of here, we'll see you tomorrow when we'll edit your Quick Start Guide emails. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. Who's stuck? Cindy, do you feel like you have an idea that you can go work on now?
A little bit. I've had to take a year off of my blog, so I really need to dive back in and take a good look. And even though I've had a year off, I'm still getting email subscribers, and just today a whole bunch. So something's going on. But yeah, I need to take a really good concentrated look at my blog. Not that I don't know what I'm doing. It's a long story, so I can't get into it. But
that's fine.
Yeah, I've got some direction.
Okay, so
thank you.
Yeah, your topic, I advise you to go look at your traffic today. There's going to be all these other things you can look at. Go look at what people are visiting right now and then ask yourself if there's a quick start guide in it.
Got it.
This does not need to be your best quick start guide. It just needs to be your first. You're going to learn the topic, or the tech, the technique. All right. All right. Anybody else stuck?
Hey, Matt, this is Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
I did what you said, and I went and looked at my traffic, and I do have a roundup post that does really well that talks about 27 different wreaths that you can make. I am a lifestyle blogger. I do DIY crafts. I do a lot of gardening. And believe it or not, my recipes also do very well for me. So I would assume that that's the direction that I need to go, would be the DIY wreaths and write about that subject. Is that the direction you would go?
So is that when you say a lot of traffic, is it more than 15-20% of your traffic is going to this
It
wreath
is.
flow?
It's about 28% right now.
That's pretty big. Yeah, that's not nothing. So is there topic number 2 that is similar in DIY, or because wreaths
Well,
is super specific?
yes, they're very specific. So I would have to go back and look at that some more. That I could incorporate like different DIY projects. Is that what you're suggesting? Not
Maybe.
just focus on wreaths.
What is specifically the search queries that bring them to that post?
Okay, I would have to go back and look at that some more.
You have any
So
guess?
I will do that. I would say, well, it is probably related seasonally to summer right now. But I mean, wreaths is the huge DIY, so I'm
Mhm.
sure that that's probably part of the search query. I could
Yeah.
look at my analytics.
Okay, let's assume that it is, just for the sake of argument. And you can
Okay.
take this methodology based off whatever it is. Let's say that it is summer wreaths. Why does somebody Google or go to Pinterest for summer wreaths DIY?
Okay.
Let's talk through it a little bit. And I know it sounds dumb, maybe too obvious, but it
Right.
might not be. So walk me through it. Why does somebody do that?
Okay, they're looking for new, fresh ideas, something creative, something, that they haven't seen before.
What do we know about this person?
They're a crafter. They like to do DIY projects.
Okay.
They want to make their own.
And we believe that there's a seasonal component to it.
Correct.
Yeah. So do you have other?
So I'm looking here now. I mean, my second one happens to be fall wreaths. And then, so
They're getting
now
ahead of
I
it.
do have a different spring craft that's very high as well, which is funny. It's old bed springs and repurposing old garden tools, but that's more into planters, so that's maybe more garden related.
Yeah. I'm going to throw out some guesses here. And I
Okay.
think this might fall into, like, I haven't done so much. I have plenty of crafter clients, but everybody's a little bit different.
Okay.
It's not like food where I know it like the back of my hand. But my guess is that crafters, they want to craft. They love
Correct.
the creativity part of it, but they're missing a couple of things, either ideas or time or both.
Okay.
And when you break through that for people, you're providing them with a tremendous amount of value.
Okay.
Now, I could see my way towards trying something that was specific to wreaths. If you have more to say about, because they've got this roundup of wreaths, but then there's like, what else are you going to say about it? You're going to say, something like 5 wreath projects that are perfect for fall, makeable in 30 minutes or less, or something like that.
Right.
I could see something like that being very hooky, grabbing them. I could also see a step above that says Wendy's signature 30-minute summer crafts.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm making stuff up here. Do they go, wow, I am curious to know what these signature crafts are that you can make in 30 minutes or less? Is there something there? I don't know. But you see what we're trying to do is we're trying to tap into what are they thinking about right then when they land on that website that's going to hook them.
Okay. I love that idea because I also have another post that's pretty decent. 23 of the best DIY summer crafts. So that's more varied and has a variety of crafts in that post.
Right. Because maybe not everybody wants to make a wreath, but they are crafty and they're coming to the long tail stuff on your website.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
if it works, you hit duplicate and you change it to autumn colors. and
Right,
it's
for the
fall
fall.
ready.
Sure. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right, cool. Diane said, so even though Wendy's large Roundup Reef post is her best traffic, should she maybe look at linking into 5 individual Reef posts? You mean in the emails themselves? Because it feels like you've already provided the answer in the Roundup. Is that what you're getting at?
Sorry,
Finding them. There it is.
I think I was getting at that first email that she would link 5 different ones,
Yeah.
like the recipe one showed, instead of one link to the Roundup itself. I don't know what the advantage would be, but
Yeah.
that was what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea. And the answer, Diane, there is I don't know. And I think that Wendy's gonna have to play with that. First of all, I don't think there's any harm in, first of all, always in every single one of these Reef posts, maybe at the top, maybe at the bottom, but sending them back to the master Roundup. I don't think there's any problem with that. Number 2, which you made me think of, is I don't know enough about wreath making. My mom used to make wreaths a lot, but it was always Christmas wreaths. I don't know what people are looking for there. It could be email number 1 are these are ones with greenery. So here's 5 of my favorite greenery. Here, email number 2 could be my summer themed wreaths. These are patriotic. These are, Americana or whatever. Day 3 could be small, large, medium, and large. I don't know. However you can chunk these up to to capture their interest. You bring up a really good point, and I don't know the answer to it. Wendy's going to have to play with that. But I will tell you that if you're coming in off of a Roundup post, they have not absorbed all of it. It is okay to repeat the content. I promise you. Do not feel that even though, so in that Roundup, let's say it's one master post, and it's how to make the chocolate peanut butter wreath. And that's what all the traffic's from. And your quick start guide is about the best wreaths of all time. Day 1 could be my most popular wreaths of all time. Guaranteed I'm putting the chocolate peanut butter wreath up top, number 1. But I'm also putting the patriotic wreath, the teddy bear wreath, the whatever wreath. Okay? Those are all really good ideas for wreaths. I don't know, Wendy, if you're taking notes, but I am clearly
like the
a
chocolate
wreath
peanut
genius.
butter.
Yeah, I mean, I think people would just be licking the front door. Could be really good. All right, Megan, what you got?
I'm just struggling. So I'm looking at all of my top content, and besides one of them, they're all high protein. But some of them are cottage cheese, some are protein powder, some are just meals. Would those be like appropriate themes to do like every day, or does it need to be like more specific than that?
I don't know. That kind of jumped out at me that you have one theme that is super popular.
It is, yeah. I was actually kind of surprised when I finally looked at like one's like a slow cooker roast, and most of them are protein balls or protein oats or protein
Yeah.
powder recipes.
Right.
My top one is just sorbet right now, but that's just seasonal and there's no protein in that. But
Okay, so what's your quick start guide look like that is all about protein?
well, I'm trying to figure out what each theme should be. Should it be like one is how to add protein to like your soups, or how to add protein to your muffins? I have a ton of those. Overnight oats, chia seed pudding. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Like, or should it be like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks? I'm having a really hard time structuring it in my head.
What is the broadest appeal? By the way, you don't need to teach anything in any of these.
Protein powder would be probably the biggest overarching theme of all of my most of my top posts.
That's an ingredient. They have the protein powder. You're telling them what to do with it, what to make with it. So what's the broadest appeal of that? Is it breakfast?
It's actually probably, yeah, I mean, it's split between breakfast and snacks.
I want you to pull yourself out of it for a second and go to what you know about the person who searched there. Because what we don't want to do is confuse Google Analytics traffic, because Lord Google has blessed you for a certain thing. He may have blessed you for tuna casserole. Your whole thing is not about tuna casserole. It just so happens that in this little corner of the internet, they said, go there, go to Megan for tuna casserole. But
Mhm.
what do you know about people who are interested in protein? They want to add more protein to every meal. So they may want meal plans. They may want how do I have dessert with protein? They would just maybe it's just like every dinner needs to be 30 grams of protein or more. And so I'm going to give you the slow cooker version. I'm going to give you the air fryer version. I'm going to give you the casserole version. You get to pick. But I think that they're looking for recipe inspiration more than they are anything else. You almost can't go wrong here.
Okay, that's good news.
Because you can start with, hi, Matt, welcome to Get More Protein in Your Diet. Over the next 5 days, I'm going to share with you the recipes that bring in 30 grams of protein or more every single time. We're going to start right here with my most popular protein recipes of all time. Yes, it's a mix of recipes from any kind of meal, from breakfast to dinner. But check these out. And there's 10. Hi, Matt. Welcome to day 2 of Get More Protein every morning, or get more protein in your diet. We're going to start with mornings. Day 2 is all about breakfast. Here are my top recipes that get more protein in your breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's almost a no-brainer.
Oh, I'm reading this. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a dietitian, so I feel like that helps with like the expertise part. I also have kids that really need more protein because they're so picky. Like I have a
Yeah.
lot of areas in my life where I'm an expert in protein. I just don't know which direction to go, but
Yeah.
just getting more in your diet, I guess, makes sense.
I think that's where most people, when they Google it,
That's what they
as a
want. They just want to
dietitian,
eat more protein.
yeah,
That makes sense.
they're
I am
not
overthinking it. Okay.
at this point. They're not. It's like Vicky with Amsterdam. They're not looking to talk to a native Dutch person. They just want to know, where do I see the tulips? Where do I rent a bike? But then when she says, I've been living here my whole life, this is my home, and let me give you the insider too. When you say, I have been teaching and coaching and crafting recipes that are specific to these dietary needs, that's how I know. Oh, okay. Now I'm paying more attention. Yeah, I was just looking for some cottage cheese bake, whatever, because I've heard that might be good. But now I'm like, oh, Megan's my person now. So we start with, I think, the broad appeal, and then your subject matter expertise gets inserted in. And as a dietitian, because a lot of my clients, they are not dietitians and they're uncomfortable talking about grams of protein here and this and that. You can talk about it because you've got the credentials and you can lean into that even more than they can. I like that.
Okay.
I told my wife I'm going to start using the phrase, I love that for you. So I love that for you, Megan.
Love that for you. I say that every day to my kids. Love that for you. Go do it.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have you're stuck on anything? All right. If not,
I'm stuck.
All right. And we were about to close it out.
My stuff is just so like, it's not random, but it's just like kind of random recipes that are like at the top, right? For example, one of my highest is a crestless quiche. The other one is like a lasagna. So I'm just like, I don't know how, like, am I supposed to be trying to find a common theme between these or now make a theme around lasagna and make that the theme? But not everybody coming to the website is looking for lasagna. So that's what I think I'm getting confused about is like, how do I make something site-wide that's good for everybody?
Yeah. It can be difficult when it's like all over the place.
Yeah.
So you do have to just kind of take a stab at it a little bit based off of what you know about people who makes lasagna? Who makes crustless quiche? Is it dinners that serve a family? Is it Italian? I don't think so. But if you start seeing those types of patterns, or if your website is specifically about Italian, but if it's all over the board, then you just try something that's better than what you had before. And it might be the summer survival menu plan. It might be 5 days of my sweetest summer treats. And then you just go there because you know that people who like to eat treats. I don't know. Do you have a gut feeling on any of that?
I started doing my email list recently, actually. And while I was doing that, I made some lead magnets, but those were basically like, for example, I made one about homemade sauces because I have like a bunch of like dipping sauces and stuff like that. So but that again was kind of just picked randomly. Like I wasn't really
Yeah.
intentional about it. So, I mean, does any of it speak to me? Like, sure, I could probably make a guide about, cozy dinner recipes or whatever the cheesy recipes or whatever the case is, but I don't know if it's not a roundup that you're talking about. So just keep sending them
Yeah.
cheesy dinner recipes, right? So
Let's take a different approach. Let's say you were asked to teach a course on this at the community college. Okay, what is your course called? Based off of your catalog and your expertise.
well, how to make a sauce that goes great with every meal, or how to make a dipping sauce that's good for,
Okay, that is super specific.
Okay, yeah, it's too specific then.
Well, I mean, how often does somebody need dipping sauces?
Well, if you're me, every day, but I mean, if you're
All right, I like the way you think. Let's think generally, though. Is your whole website about dipping sauces? It's not. You got
no,
lasagna.
exactly not. But I do have, a lot of them. But no, it's not a dipping sauce website.
So you have a lot of them. Why did you choose dipping sauces to begin with? I mean, why did you start making dipping sauce recipes? Is what I mean.
Yeah, because I truly do like to dip everything in everything. So I use dipping sauces every day, and just recipes that I make in general.
I'm going to ask dumb questions. Why? Why do you like dipping sauces?
For me, it makes the meal better. Like elevates any meal kind of thing. Like it's an extra flavor boost to add to whatever you're making.
Okay, let's start there for a second then. So do you have, when you make your recipes, you're not, because you could get out the Betty Crocker cookbook and you could find the quiche and you could make it. You could find the lasagna. But you went to the effort of making a lasagna and a crustless quiche to make it tastier, to make it faster, to make it cheaper. Why did you choose those? Was it a flavor boost thing? You just thought it would taste better if you did it?
No, I mean, I make those because I personally enjoy eating them.
Okay, so you see where I'm going here. You could lean into this. Elevate your meals sounds like an AI thing, but the gist of it is, if you elevate your meals, how do you say that? So no more boring summer dinners. If you did no more boring summer dinners, and I'm not saying you should, but I'm just using this as a proxy, you could talk about dipping sauces. You could talk about dinners done different. You could talk about breakfast for dinner. You could talk about pizza night in a way that you've never done pizza night before. All of a sudden, that theme gives you this opportunity to talk about random stuff, because anything falls under no more boring dinners. Eat outside. That's a whole email, right? And these are all the things that we can eat outside. Go to a friend's house, take these, and these are make ahead meals. I don't know.
Yeah, I think my problem is not being able to see the broader picture, but those examples are helping for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if you, it is hard, especially when there's so many. It's not, in your case, it's not just lying there obvious, but you could also lean into your subject matter expertise, which is the kind of the community college thing. Look, you all are making dinner too boring. Forget it. Or you all are making it bland, or you're making it too expensive, or too fatty, or whatever your thing is. And then you can take that and make that, and then you can apply seasonality to it, summer, and other, and then lump these together into this guide concept. I don't think you can go wrong if you don't have anything else going on. So take a general approach, maybe try something like that in absence of anything else.
Yeah.
If you start on that, can you come up with 5 topics like we talked about? Well, I just came up with a bunch. I don't know if any of them are relevant, but can you come up with 5 topics? And then don't get hung up on it. Bang them out and fix it later. The most important thing here, Andrea, is to launch something new. You will iterate. You'll make it better. I promise. And if you hate what you launched, great, because that'll inspire you to make it even better.
Okay.
How's that for a rah-rah?
Good.
Okay, anybody else? All right. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We're sorry we went so long, but hopefully this helps you get going. We'll see you tomorrow when we will quick start our lives away. It's going to be fantastic. All right. Take care.